Hello, everyone, and thank you again for tuning in. In this series, we've been carefully exploring each part of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, and today we arrive at the seventh step, right mindfulness. The term right mindfulness might not be familiar in everyday life, but it's actually a concept that has gained a lot of attention in recent years. In English, it's often translated as mindfulness, a practice now widely adopted in corporate training programs, schools, and even in healthcare and psychotherapy. But the true roots of mindfulness lie in the Buddhist principle of right mindfulness. Over 2,500 years ago, the Buddha taught about the transformative power of being fully aware, of truly waking up to the present moment as a way to bring calm and clarity to the mind. So, what exactly is right mindfulness? Simply put, it is the practice of placing your attention in the here and now with clear and accurate awareness. Think about it every day we breathe, eat, talk to others, and go about countless activities. But how often are we truly conscious of what we are doing in the moment? Often, our minds drift lost in anxiety about the future or regret over the past. I'm sure many of you have experienced this. The Buddha taught that this tendency of the mind to wander to be somewhere other than where we are is at the heart of our suffering. The antidote, he said, is to anchor our awareness in the present. When we cultivate mindfulness, when we practice right mindfulness, we train the mind to be still, attentive, and at peace, free from the distractions that often cloud our perception. Let me share with you a well-known metaphor the Buddha once used to explain this. One day, his disciple Ananda asked, "Master, how can we live without being swept away by daily life? How can we keep our minds from being disturbed?" The Buddha picked up a rope and replied, "The mind is like this rope. If you let go of its end, it gets tossed by the wind, falls to the ground, and gets soiled. But if you hold it firmly, even the strongest wind can't carry it away." Right, mindfulness is like holding that rope. It keeps your mind from drifting. In other words, by remaining fully present, we can avoid being controlled by fleeting emotions or impulses. But how do we actually develop right mindfulness? The Buddha recommended a practical method called the Four Foundations of Mindfulness, which means cultivating awareness toward four domains: the body, feelings, the mind, and mental phenomena. First, there is mindfulness of the body. One simple way to begin is to observe your breathing inhale, exhale, paying attention to each breath. Even everyday activities like eating can become powerful moments of mindfulness. When we focus on the act of chewing or the sensation of taste, these small practices done with intention are no less than spiritual exercises. The second is mindfulness of feelings. We often cling to pleasant sensations and avoid unpleasant ones. But when we can simply notice and name our feelings, I am feeling discomfort, for example, without judging or reacting, we begin to free ourselves from emotional entanglement. This may sound surprising, but just observing a feeling can reduce its power over us. The third is mindfulness of the mind itself. When you're angry or sad, become aware of the state of your own mind. Just recognizing I am angry or I feel sadness can create space between you and the emotion, allowing you to respond rather than react. The fourth is mindfulness of mental phenomena of the underlying truths and teachings in life. This means asking questions like, why am I feeling this way? Or what attachment is causing this suffering? By exploring these questions, we deepen our insight and move closer to real understanding. Practicing these four foundations in daily life is what the Buddha meant by right mindfulness. There's a story I'd like to share with you. One of the Buddha's disciples, a young man named Kulapanthaka, had a hard time concentrating and was often mocked by others. He couldn't even memorize a single verse of scripture and was on the verge of giving up his monastic life. Seeing this, the Buddha handed him a white cloth and said, "Wipe this cloth," while repeating the words, "Remove the dust, remove the stain," and do it with full awareness. Kulapanthaka followed the instruction with devotion. Day after day, he wiped the cloth, At first, it was just a chore. But one day, he suddenly realized just as dust and dirt collect on this cloth, anger and confusion have gathered in my mind. That moment of realization was the awakening of mindfulness. From then on, he developed deep concentration and eventually attained enlightenment. The lesson here is that awareness can be found in any act, whether it's cleaning, walking, or eating. Every moment of life holds the potential to become a moment of practice. Even in our modern lives, mindfulness is accessible. When you wake up, take a moment to feel your breath. During meals, put down your phone and really taste each bite. When speaking with someone, truly listen to their voice. Small efforts like these can bring about profound change. Next time you're on a train, instead of reaching for your phone, try looking out the window or focusing on your breath. In meetings, try truly listening to others. Even doing household chores can become opportunities for mindfulness if you pay attention to the movements of your hands or the sound of the vacuum cleaner. Over time, these small practices accumulate and begin to transform you. You may find yourself becoming calmer, less irritated, more grounded. That's because you are starting to live rooted in the now. The power of mindfulness lies in its ability to help us remain centered in the present, untouched by the regrets of the past or worries about the future. The past is beyond our control, and the future has not yet arrived. But the present, this very moment, is the only time we can truly influence. The Buddha once told his disciples, "Do not chase the past. Do not long for the future. The past is gone, and the future is not yet here. Dwell in the present. Observe it with clarity and calmness. Practice diligently. Who can say whether tomorrow will come?" This passage, recorded in the middle-length discourses, beautifully captures the essence of right mindfulness. What we can do is simply live this moment with care and attention. And as we continue this practice, we notice something else. A sense of compassion begins to grow. As our own hearts calm down, we become more aware of the suffering of others. Instead of reacting with irritation or blame, we start to think, this person is struggling too. This shift in awareness nurtures the compassionate heart that Buddhism cherishes. In this way, mindfulness not only transforms our inner life, but also deepens our relationships. And as we become more mindful, our perspectives shift too. Imagine being pushed in a crowded train. Before, you might have reacted with anger, thinking, "How rude." But with mindfulness, you might instead think, "This person must be tired too," or "The morning rush is stressful for everyone." You begin to see things from a wider, more compassionate angle. This doesn't mean we should passively accept everything. It's still important to act when there are problems. But rather than reacting emotionally, mindfulness allows us to act with clarity and intention. You don't need any special tools or places to practice mindfulness. You can start right now, wherever you are. Begin with just a few minutes a day and gradually increase the time. What's important is not to strive for perfection. If your mind wanders, just notice it. "Oh, my mind wandered," and gently bring it back to the breath. That gentle return is the very heart of mindfulness. In the Buddha's final words on this topic, he said, "The past is already gone, the future is not yet here." Only those who are fully present and mindful in this moment are truly awake. So, if even one moment of your day is spent in mindful awareness, you are already walking the path of the Buddha. I invite you to find a little time in your busy day to return to that awareness. It's a form of kindness to yourself, and it also nurtures your compassion toward others. That brings us to the end of today's talk. Next time, we'll discuss the final step of the Eightfold Path, right concentration. That's all for today. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. I'd also love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments section. Wishing you a peaceful and fulfilling day. Thank you for watching. Until next time, may your heart be at peace.